Good morning. This is Sahar and Radi, and today is day 3 of our 5-day challenge for, assertiveness experience. We have been together for 3 days already. I can't believe that. So, first, let me say good morning to whoever is here. So, good morning, Patty, Erica, Kim, Sam, Rihanna, Sarah, Dawn, Mary, Jen, Bill, Jim. Thank you all for being here today. And I know that from the beginning I have said that I'm going to take only 10 people this webinar, so I can handle the questions that come in every day. So thank you so much for the emails that I have been receiving. And as you know, I have been responding to them one by one. One of the questions that kept repeating itself is, how would I know that I became assertive, or how do I know that I'm changing? You will know from the reactions of the people around you. You will know from how you feel when you say something. Is that feeling of sometimes resentment or frustration, even from yourself, when you keep saying yes to everything, or when you feel like you need to say something right now, but you don't bring yourself up to say it or to share it, and you feel like, um, no, maybe I shouldn't do that. I mean, it's not my problem, or I shouldn't get involved. So, all that you will know because the more you're going to practice assertiveness, the more you're going to feel good about yourself, the more your self confidence is going to go high or higher. Um, it's not an overnight change, and it's not an overnight process, and it's not a walk in the park. But since when whatever we needed was easy, I mean, if everything in life was easy, none of us would have had any issues. So that's what I'm saying. We need to start looking at the end in mind, like Stephen Covey said. The I hope that you all of you read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Is to start with the end in mind. And this way, you have a goal you're trying to achieve. And once you have a goal that you're working for, things that are really difficult, at least I'm not going to say they're going to be easy, but they're going to be less difficult. And everything that is worth needs to be done, no matter how hard it is. And I just wanted to let you know that when you go to anywhere to get something or buy something, you have to pay for it. I mean, we all do, and it's part of life. I mean, we cannot just say, oh no, I'm not going to do that or whatever. No, it's part of life. So I highly commend you for being here every day for the last 3 days, and for the next 2 days also, and then practice it a little bit every day. That being said, let's go through our webinar today. Let me just pull it up. So, as we said yesterday, what we did yesterday is, I'll talk about it in a second. Like, this is day 3, so thank you for being here and being with me for the 3rd day. On yesterday, or day 2, what we talked about yesterday is what are the benefits of assertiveness, and why do we need to be assertive, and how does it look? How does it affect us? And we also talked a little bit more about how to cross, from how to do the transformation. And there is a transformation dilemma when we have two forces, one pulling us to where we are today, not moving forward, and one basically backwards, and the other one pushing us forward. And where are we from it? I mean, what do we do about it? And where do we stand? And I give you also a couple of exercises for it. That being said, like I said, I always start with these questions. Are you reluctant to express your opinions? You find it difficult to refuse others' requests? Do you agree with everybody else just to stay in harmony? Do you just do compromises that where you say yes to something that is not yours, at the same time you're saying no to something that is yours, that can basically push your career forward? Do you have boundaries with other people? Do you feel like you're taken for granted or neglected in a relationship because you don't speak up? If any of your answers on this are yes, then you are in the right place. So let's talk about today. I said we're going to talk about personal change because it does take a personal change to go from wherever we are today to wherever we want to go. And it's a decision that we make. And as we can see, the butterfly out of a caterpillar doesn't happen overnight. It just goes through a process. And that's the same thing that when we talk about personal change. So personal change is both an internal and external experience. Any change that we need to implement in our life that is personal needs to start from the inside. And until our inside and our outside are aligned, we are never going to be at total peace and we are never going to be at total happiness. And remember, happiness definition is different from one person to the other. So whatever you feel happiness is for you and what does it mean, it might be different to me or to the next person to you or to the next person or to the next person. So you need to start by defining what does happiness means to you. So the personal change stems from a change first internally in your mindset, as changing habits, changing whatever you're doing that you feel is not helping you in your life. And it branches from the inside out. Externally, it has to do on how you manifest, how you show the external world, how your mindset shift and the environment around you is going to look. So changing something in yourself and to have a different opinion is very hard. And that's why any change, any little change, like I said, our brain will bring us back to our comfort zone to be on status quo because it wants to protect us. This is its first function. So we get overloaded with anxiety and with stress, and then we say, you know what the heck, why should I mean, I'm fine. I mean, yeah, I get resentful, yeah, I get frustrated, yeah, I'm not achieving my goals. But is that really fair to do to yourself? Don't take the easy way out, please. Close this notification. Just go forward, because I do believe in you. I do believe that we all have a genius inside of us that we need to get out. And I commend you for being here for the last 3 days. I commend you that you want to start changing your life to the better. It's not easy, and we always say that being fearless is not the acting in the absence of fear, because fear never stops, is acting despite of fear, and that's what courageous people do. So it's hard to change because you have that force that wants to keep you safe in whatever place that you are. Anxiety takes over and paralyzes you, or you procrastinate. You know what, tomorrow I'll do it, or I don't have time today, or I don't have resources today, and you just keep putting it one day after the other. Or you are unhappy with the people around you, but you still don't want to offend them. You still don't want to make them say, oh, what's going on with you? You're changing and maybe I don't like it. So you are fearing anything that has to do with the change, that people won't like you or will ridicule you or will embarrass you. As everyone else, when you are ready to make a serious change, what happens, like I said, the brain will put the brakes on your motivation, and it will put the brakes on whatever you want to do to move forward, because again, it wants to keep you in your comfort zone. And what would you always say? Yes, miracles happen only when you step out of your comfort zone. So to start all that, start thinking before you go into any change. Before you want to be assertive, you want to be heard, you want to put the boundaries, start thinking, what can stop me? What is that little voice inside my brain has been telling me all these years? And I know that we both know, because I went through this myself. I know what that little voice is going to tell us. So start planning from the beginning. I mean, you don't plan, you fail. Like they say it this way, you don't plan, you plan to fail. So you need to plan in advance before you do any other change. What are the obstacles that might get your way? Because there are barriers to change. The first barrier is that previous failures or hiccups. And remember, each one of us again has a different definition of failure. I don't believe that there are failures in life. I believe that failures are just steps that teaches me what not to do in the future and how I can move in a better way for the next step. So again, these little missteps or hiccups that we had in our life, even since we were kids, since we were children, it's that little voice in our brain that wants again to keep us in our comfort zone. And I keep repeating that so we can be familiar with it. We resist the change because either we feel or we perceive is meaning it's not reality, we perceive it's right or wrong, it stops us there. And then the emotions that we have or that fear that we have can be totally disconnected from reality. Yes, we might have a hiccup then, but we don't know, did we think what was the environment, what was the factors around us that made us maybe not succeed in whatever we wanted to do? So making little changes can benefit, especially that now we have been through something and we know what doesn't work. We are already a step ahead. We know what not to do, so we can move forward in even a little bit more comfortable way. The second one is, as human beings, whenever we are uncertain about what to do, it's like a lot of people tell me, I just want to make sure that nothing in life is guaranteed. Nothing. So we might as well work with that to our advantage. So anxiety over uncertainty or fear of the unknown, again, can keep us trapped where we are. The third part is when we put unrealistic expectations on ourselves, like people that tell you, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in the next 10 days. Like all these commercials of diet, you know what I mean? Lose 13 pounds in the first, whatever, 2 weeks, and it doesn't happen that way. It's unrealistic expectations. What happens is that if you don't do that, if you say, okay, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 1 week, if you don't achieve these 10 pounds, even if you lose 9.5 pounds in that week and you don't hit the 10 pounds, guess what? You're going to despair. You're going to feel like, you know what? It's not good enough. I will never do anything. I'm always a failure. And that will let you go back to wherever you are, to your comfort zone, to your status quo. And whenever we start doing something and it doesn't achieve as what you realistic expectation, what tends to do is that you fall back into your old patterns because now you have the excuse to do it. We are built in aversion to obstacles, meaning, again, we avoid, our brain to defend us or to protect us, makes us avoid painful tasks or tough because it wants to keep us safe. Also, one of the reasons that are barriers of change, our own self-limiting beliefs. It's like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. No one likes me. No one will help me. I don't deserve better. I will never win. All these self-limiting beliefs are self-sabotaging ourselves from the inside out. And once I mean, come on, when someone tells us that is bad enough, but imagine if we say that to ourselves day in, day out. And the problem is that the limiting beliefs grow with us since we are kids. The way we live, did we have parents that told us, you can do whatever you want? Or it's just like, nah, that's not good enough. I mean, look at your friend, how better they are than you, doing this and that. But how did we grow up has a lot to do of who we are today. But remember, we are not defined by our past. Our past, it's part of who we are. Actually, our past is what made us today. And we are good. We are worthy. We are enough. So we should actually embrace the past and our experiences that led us to who we are today. The fifth barrier is procrastination, or we will become complacent in the place that we are. Procrastination's meaning that I will do that tomorrow, or it's not important today. And sometimes we procrastinate for days, for weeks, for months, for years. I hear people for years saying, when this will happen, I will do this. Or when I retire, I'm gonna travel the whole world. And I have seen this with my own eyes. I know, unfortunately, people that did that, and by the time they retired, they couldn't go anywhere because they got sick, and some of them even died. I don't want to be, I don't mean to be morose here or like coming from the dark side, but this is life. We are never guaranteed anything except this minute, except the present. I mean, we cannot control the past because it passed, and we cannot control the future because we have no idea what's going to happen. So we can only guarantee this minute. Being assertive needs to start now. Self-esteem and self-confidence has to start now, because guess what? We are not guaranteed the next minute. We're not guaranteed the next hour. We're not guaranteed the next week. We're not guaranteed the next month or even year. So it needs to start now. The sixth barrier is the perfection. People tell you, I just want everything to be perfect. I want to make sure that all the conditions around me, the environment is perfect. I have news for you. There is no perfection in this world. We can thrive to do the best that we can, but perfection is an excuse that keeps us where we are. There is nothing called perfection. Perfection is rooted in procrastination. And guess what? Procrastination is rooted in fear. So it's our fear talking when we talk about perfection and about procrastination. Number seven, fear of being blamed. When people tell you, oh my God, you're changing and you're not the same, and I don't know what's going on with you. Are you going through a midlife crisis? Let them say whatever they say. It's about you, and it's about how you want to be happy. If you're not happy, you will never be able to make anyone around you happy. If you don't care about yourself, you will never teach how people should take care of you. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to show people how to love you. If you don't respect yourself, you're never going to show people how to respect you. It starts and ends with you. And then there is the fears, well, people are not going to like me and they're going to abandon me. And a lot of us have abandonment issues more or less than the other, and we grow with them. We are never perfect, but we need to put together what we have. We need to start thinking about ourselves and about what's good for us. Thinking about ourselves and putting ourselves first does not mean that we are selfish or we are self-centered. It's like, if we don't take care of yourself first, and I always say that to the people that I coach, if your feet are not standing solid on the floor, you cannot help anyone else. When I ask people sometimes, most of the time, why do you want to do this? Because I want to help others. How can you help others if you don't help yourself? You cannot maintain the light in other people's homes if you cannot pay your own electricity bill. So it starts and ends with you to be strong. To be assertive. The choice is yours. It's no one else. It will only take a decision to go past these barriers so you can do the change. The change, and only you can take that decision when you feel that the change that you want to do is more important to you than the cost or the price to breaking this barrier. So it's a choice, and the choice is yours. I hope you're going to take the right choice. So let's start talking about the stages of changes. So there is the pre-consideration of the change, meaning you are still on the fence, you are not committed, you're basically still in denial that you have a problem, because some people say, no, it's just like you're saying, I need to be, I'm just nice to people. What do you mean I should do this, I should do that? I don't think what you're saying is true. And inside of them, you keep probing a little bit, and you find out that they're not happy, they are frustrated even with themselves, they are resentful, they live in stress and in anxiety. Is that worth it? That's my question to you. Is that worth it? To make other people happy on your own expense, is it worth it? So at the pre-consideration stage, there is no intention of change. It's basically, we have like a smoke mirror or fog that we're looking through. You stay in your status quo, denying the truth because you are fearful like we talked about the barriers earlier. The change will start when you reach the end of the rope. I mean, I remember the day I decided I will never do that again. I will never step on myself, to make other people happy. Making other people happy is still very important to me. But I realize that unless I'm happy, I'm not going to be able to extend that happiness to them. Because we don't know. Some people, you keep agreeing with them and they're like, here we go again. They will roll out like, oh, you're just with whoever is winning. And it just, people stop respecting you. Most of the time, if you just agree with them and you don't have, we always hear the expression, they don't have a backbone. So start growing your backbone. Actually, your backbone is there. Just give it way to go there. So until the day come where you are at the end of the rope and you say, you know what, enough is enough, because the decision is yours. It's not going to move forward. The second step is consideration. Okay, you became aware of the problem. You know that you need to change, but you're not yet totally committed to take action. You acknowledge that there is an issue and you start psyching yourself up. So the first thing that you do, you plan. What we say the SMART goal. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time, function. Meaning that it has to be, you cannot say, for example, I need to be assertive. What does that mean? So for example, specific, I want to say no when someone gives me another task that I don't have time to do. Measurable, meaning it's just like I have to measure by the end of the day, I finish my own task if I can help them or not. Achievable, start small steps. Remember the unrealistic expectations. Don't go crazy about your expectations. You can do it, but it has to be baby steps. When we are born, we are not born running. First we need to be carried, then we start crawling, then we start trying to stand up and we keep falling and we stand up again, and then we use like tables or something to support ourselves on, and then we start walking little bit by little bit, and then we learn to run. Nothing happens overnight. Relevant, meaning it has to mean something to you. Time function, meaning that you have to give yourself a time limit. You cannot say, I'm going to do this and I have all the time of my life, because again, you have to do like within the 2 weeks, next 2 weeks, this is what I'm going to start to do. Little baby steps. Define the new you. Imagine the new life. Imagine when you're going to start standing up for yourself, how it's going to be. And remember the journey steps: the origin, the destination, filling the gap. How do you know that you got there? Think from the beginning. What are the negative and what are the positive consequences that can happen? So you are prepared. At this stage, you're just building your awareness and emotions that will help you move forward. The third one, preparation. So you understand, you are aware, you acknowledge that you have a problem, and now you prepare yourself forward. Baby steps, the intentions are set. You know what you need to move from your origin to your destination in your journey of transformation, right? So you know that you need the skills. So the skills may be, start learning assertive communication. Look at yourself in the mirror, straighten the eye, start talking to yourself, start training yourself to stand tall. Your head is like tall, like you look like that. Start the baby steps. Start hearing yourself. What tone of your voice will be better? Like, I have a loud voice and I had to train my voice to be at a certain level where it doesn't sound like screaming or yelling. I mean, it helps me when I do my training and my coaching in big groups, but I had to train myself to come to that level. Build your own commitment. Start thinking, why is it important to you? Find your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And unless you embrace your why, you're not going to fulfill your journey. And I usually ask myself 5 whys. I get like why I'm doing this, and then I get that statements and I ask myself why. And then I get a statement, and then I ask myself why. Till I dig really deep why I'm doing this. Ask for help. Look for coach if you have to. Look for a mentor. Look for a sponsor, but ask for help. Mark it on your calendar. When are you starting? You know, one of my mentors told me, if if it's not on your calendar, it will never gonna happen. So mark it on your calendar, and no matter what small achievements you achieve, always reward yourself. Whatever you love, even like my guilty pleasure sometimes is watching Housewives. So I record everything, and whenever I want to reward myself, I watch one episode. Reward, no matter what if it means a bar of chocolate, do it. Because when you reward yourself, you're sending a message to your brain, you did good and I'm rewarding you. So it releases the hormones or the chemicals in your brain that makes you feel happy. And when the brain feels it, it will keep pushing you to repeat that because it likes that feeling of happiness at that time. So you're basically retraining your brain. Number 4 is taking action. Now that you prepared yourself, move forward. Change the environment around you if it helps you. Like rearrange your desk, put a candle to burn, have a softer light. You know, so it, or have even these days everybody I have a couple of them, Himalayan salt lamp. You know, so you can meditate in the morning. Take deep breath. My allergy are going crazy, I know. Take a deep breath in the morning, have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, have some water when you wake up. Take some time for yourself in the morning so you can ready to go on and ready to start your assertive experience in the world because it's new. Taking continuous little action, like little steps is better than nothing. It requires continuous commitment of time and energy. Try to replace the bad habits with good habits. Like if you jump out of bed every morning, try to wake up 10 minutes earlier, so you can rest, you can have 5 minutes to yourself, you can have that glass of water to rehydrate your body. Change your habits. A habit becomes automatic between 3 weeks to a month, max to 40 days. So start today. Look for accountability partners, people that will keep you on the track of achieving your dreams. Again, ask for help and reward yourself, like we said in the one before. Then preserve, because it's very easy for us to slip back into our old habits and come back to it. We tend to relapse, and it's okay. If you do, like if I'm on a diet and I took some sweet, like after 2-3 weeks, I will not kill myself because of that. And I will not tell myself, oh, you are a failure, you never do anything right. No, it's okay. I felt I'm gonna get up, dust myself up, and move forward. So in assertiveness, learning to say no is developing in advance. That you will feel sometimes that maybe to this person at this point I cannot say no. So you will do it, you will fall, you will slip. It's okay. It's how you're going to get up that will be your value. So avoid putting yourself in high risk triggers area around people that you cannot say no to, especially in the beginning, till you build that resistance, till you build that power of saying no. Resist the urge to take the easy way out. I'll do it next time, or maybe not this time. Slips happen, don't turn them to a fall. Journal everything, your journey. And this is what I always say: ask for help, look for mentors, look for coaches. You need to go through the stages one by one. Don't jump from one to the other, because it doesn't work that way. Every step to follow is different from one person to the other. You are going to go through every single step. You cannot take a shortcut, and you cannot bypass any of them. So this has been our today's session. Tomorrow we are talking already about solutions, about what do we need. Today that we talked about the different barriers and the different steps of change, tomorrow we are going to start putting together a plan on how to start you on the right path of assertiveness. Meanwhile, if you want a complimentary 30-minute discovery session, you can, the link that http Sahar and Radi dot you can book me dot me, or you can email me at info@reinventyourself-to-greatness.com, and we can talk together about what you need and what you can do if you're stuck somewhere. And please keep sending your questions, keep sending your emails. I love to respond to them. And if I feel like one of the emails or one of the questions many people ask it, I will share it right here. And keep doing what you're doing. And today is the best day to start, not tomorrow, not after tomorrow. This hour is better than next hour, and this minute is better. This is your host, Sahar Enradi. Thank you so much for being here today with me for the third day on a row. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.